Aha! It's the DJ and TV opener. That means it's time for another episode. Welcome back. In case you went somewhere, like clicked from one place to the next. That is going somewhere, isn't it? I'm super excited about my next guest tonight on the show, DJ and TV Live DJ Chat here on Monday nights, brought to you by three amazing sponsors: DJ Event Planner, Electra Voice, that makes the most extraordinary speakers on the planet, Top Hits USA for music, and Newmark as a lot of great gear, and they're sponsoring the show tonight, and you'll be hearing from them. However, my guest that we're going to talk to next is someone that I've known for a long time and have a lot of respect for, who's made a lot of great contributions to the industry. He's got a couple of workshops. He used to do a lot of keynotes and presentations about talking about like how Disney actually creates experiences, which has really been illuminating. And he's been a student of Disney for a long, long time. And he also has and I'm going to get the name of this wrong, the Automatic Love Story workshop. What's the first word? I know
audio amazing.
Audio amazing. That's it. Not the automatic. It's the audio amazing. I had the A right. Anyway, really putting both. Putting music together and the story and their telling of the story all together into a love story, and it's a really new twist on sharing a love story at a wedding event when you've had that workshop going on for quite a while. So he'd really done a lot of extraordinary work, and he's emceed and DJ'd weddings for years and years and years and years. Just a long, long, long time. Has seen a lot of history and seen a lot of change in the industry. And now we're going to talk about how to really make it great for the bride. And that's what we're going to find out about tonight from Ron Ruth.
Whoa! Yay!
How was that? I had to make that up.
God, that lengthy intro, and man, I didn't realize I was all that, but okay.
Right?
Hey.
I know. It's so exciting. We should go to a commercial break.
I know. I mean, it's like, whew, how do you follow that? I mean, just the intro alone is enough to make me go, oh, okay, I'm done.
Yeah.
Drop the mic. I'm out of here.
That's
so
awesome.
Jason, how you been, buddy?
I've been great.
Like forever, you kind of got off going and doing your own thing. Great success to you. I see you popping up on my Facebook feed with your little videos occasionally, and
yeah,
you must be really liking the life coaching things. Is that going well for you?
Well, I'm primarily working with business people, and the context is in business coaching. And so, and I'm loving it. I love being a coach. I discovered it when I was doing the entertainment experience and found out that this is my passion. So I joke with people that because I started out in radio and I spent a good 12 years in radio. So I spent the first half of my career trying to get people to listen to me. And
Sure.
Now I'm spending the second half of my career trying to find out what people are trying to say.
I'm spending there. Yeah, it's really hard sometimes. People don't always say exactly what they mean.
Exactly. And when you really listen, you'll be amazed at what people are actually saying.
And that's actually, it's funny that it's tremendous transition into what we're going to talk about tonight, about helping a bride realize her idea of the ideal wedding reception, because it's a lot of most DJs always want to say that they pride themselves on helping a bride bring her wedding to life. But there's also an awful lot of DJs out there to go, well, how does that work?
Mm-hmm.
How do I make that happen? And how do I get the information that I need from the bride and groom that are going to make it possible for me to help them realize their dream?
Right.
Where would you like to start, Jason? Point me in a direction and we will go that way.
Well, what about like at the, in the consultation where a lot of things really start to come to life?
Actually, the consultation is, in my opinion, one of the most important parts of discovering what it is a bride wants. Not just sitting down and going, hey, so what do you want?
That was going to be my next question.
Yeah, I mean, because, they're not going to, first off, most brides think they know what they want. Some brides, but they don't really know what they want because, unlike us who do this thing every weekend, a bride is only going to get married once. So she thinks that what she wants is the stuff that she sees on Pinterest, on her friends are doing. And,
that's the plan.
She gets so lost in all of that she doesn't really have a chance to be herself. And so one of the things that I try to do at the very, very beginning of a consult is to get people to relax, just talk to me, be a person. And I think if anything, if the greatest lesson to get people to talk to you is quit treating them like clients, quit calling them clients, for crying out loud. I talk to them as people and just have a conversation about nothing that has to do with weddings to start. And then lead them into, okay, so let's talk a little bit about your wedding. And actually, let's talk a little bit about your relationship. And as they start talking about the relationship, you're going to hear all sorts of things come out that you go, well, there's an idea of something that might be a personal touch, and there's something that sounds like it might be an idea of a
Well, like what? I mean, how does that? How do you hear things that sound like things you could do?
Okay, well, as an example, okay, let's talk about something everybody knows. And you mentioned Disney at the top of the present of this stream. So let's talk a little bit about Disney. If I'm meeting with a couple and I hear her and her fiance talking, this is purely, and actually it's happened, but we're going to use this as an example. If I hear them talking about maybe how they met at Disney, or how they enjoy visiting Disney, or just, something that keeps pointing in the direction of Disney. It could be, maybe it's not Disney. Maybe it's people that just like to travel. You can use that. You can go, well, here's some ideas of things that we might be able to do that will bring out that part of your personality that you like to travel. Or maybe they like, I'm working with a couple coming up in November who are both, he's an actor, she's an actress. And they're both, they love Broadway musicals. So, in the course of the conversation, the initial conversation, man, I'm going, of course, I have a theater background too. So that was natural for me. It was like, boom, 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 boom. Yeah, here's some ideas. Let's, it's just some stuff to consider. And it was like one right after another. And the same thing with Disney. I mean, when you hit something like a Disney, which I'm familiar with, I mean, it's like, man, you can go back and forth. Other things take some thought, and you have to be willing to say, here's an idea. I think so many DJs, not just DJs, but I think a lot of people in our industry are so worried about being perfect with the first thing that they have to say, that they're not willing to just kind of take a chance and say, you know what, this is an idea. I haven't really totally thought it through yet, but I see potential here. And sometimes when you offer an idea like that, the bride or the groom or both of them might go, ooh, I like that. And maybe they'll even add to it. It's just one of those things that, I hate the word, but it's like creating synergy. You just get this rhythm going. And it just makes it that much easier for you to produce these ideas that may be of advantage to them. I've talked about this before in the past. One of the very first things I do when I meet with a couple for the first time, after they contract me, the first meeting I have, and a lot of this goes back to the Audio Amazing Love Story. My first meeting with a couple is to spend no less than 45 minutes to an hour just finding out who they are. Who are you? I'll ask them lots of questions about all the who, what, when, where, whys, and hows of how they came to be, all the way up through, tell me about the first kiss, and who said I love you first, and when did you go looking for rings, and then all of the who, what, when, where, why, and how of their proposal. In that 45 minutes to an hour, there's a wealth of information there that when we get together again for the planning process, and I've had a chance to go back and actually review the entire recording, at that point I'm able to say, okay, I don't want to overwhelm you, so here are maybe like a half a dozen different ideas of things from what you told me that I think that you might like. What do you think of these ideas? And then I give them a chance to respond to them. But it's really, again, I still contend that it goes back to treating people like people. To me, a client, it took me a long time. I searched and searched and searched for a word that I could replace client with. I would prefer just to say, hey, instead of having a client meeting tonight, I'm having a meeting with John and Jane about their wedding. I use their names. But if I have to put a label on them, the label I've chosen is creative partner, because that's what they are. Without the information that they feed me, I've got nothing I'm limited in what I can offer them. So, and by using that term creative partner, it changes the dynamic of the relationship, because it changes the way in which I interact with them on my end, because they are my creative partner. The idea is to work together. Also changes.
That does a lot of that affects the dynamic in a lot of interesting ways.
There you go.
And I want to talk about and dig into that a little bit more
Okay,
as soon as we
it.
come back from this little message from Newmark. And we're back with guest Ron Ruth.
Were we gone? Did we go somewhere?
What's that all about? Kansas City. Ron is also a contributing columnist, a regular columnist in the Disc Jockey News, in the print and the e-edition, where you can catch his wisdom in each issue. Which page? 7?
6.
6.
Page 6.
Page 6.
That's expensive real estate. Page 6.
Yeah, the page right next to the Lucky 7 page.
That's exactly what I was thinking.
So anyway, we were talking about creative partner, and when you're saying like that you are a creative collaborator with someone, it also makes you an equal to them. You're not like I'm the subservient employee, tell me what to do, but actually you become a co-creator together, where you are putting into this your creativity as well to create something together with them. Versus, I think a lot of times we think like, okay, I'll DJ your wedding and I'll do whatever you want. What do you want me to do? You tell me. I can do it. You name it. I can do it. You just got to tell me what it is. And then it's all on them.
That's another thing I find annoying, but we'll come back to that.
Okay.
But let's go to the other side of this from a client perspective of being called a creative partner, because in their mind it also changes how it changes how they think you think of their event.
Mm-hmm.
Because now, if you, as a creative partner, you have an equal vested interest in the success of this event. I mean, to me, it's something I learned, long ago, before we started going really, really political. I used to love listening to Rush Limbaugh. This was back in the early 90s. And in those days, he wasn't really political. But one of the things
he was a lot more funny than he was.
Pardon me?
He was a lot more funny then.
Oh yeah, well, and he was a lot more. He was a lot more business oriented, and a lot of the conversations. And one of the things I learned from his program is that words mean something, and that is really just. I mean, it means a lot. I mean, it's like the simple difference between saying "you're welcome" or saying "my pleasure." It's a simple difference between saying. Let me know if you have any questions, as opposed to what else can I do to be of assistance to you today. I mean, it changes there's so many dynamics, but going to that thing about, just tell me what you want. Okay, so I'm old school, and let's get hate mail coming to me, because here
do that.
here's what I find annoying. I think it was Albert Einstein that said the internet is. There's something about technology. The day technology becomes prominent, it's going to turn us into a bunch of idiots. I don't remember the exact quote, but that's the gist of it: is that technology is going to make mankind idiots. when people, I'm amused by people that, and that's not just DJs. It's a lot of different wedding professionals who tell a bride and groom to their face, "Oh yeah, I can do that." And then what do? They go online to Facebook and they say, "I have a bride and groom that want to do this. I've never done this before. What should I do?" Instead of just being honest with a couple and saying, "You know what? I've had couples that say." I want to do this and that and the other, and I want to do something, and I'd say, I've never seen that done before. Tell me what you saw.
Mm-hmm.
Tell me what you saw, what you felt. Give me some clue as to what it. Because if I go online and put nobody knows my client, and any suggestions anybody gives me, or not suggestions, everybody's like, here's what you should do. If they've not met my client, then they're not going to know. And I should have just been honest with my couple in the first place and said, I don't know, help me out.
Mm-hmm.
And if they can't help you out, then you go online and you say, but here's the other thing. If you're going to go online and you're going to ask these things, don't just go online and say, I have a client that wants to do XYZ. How do I do it? Go online and say, my client wants to do XYZ. Here's what I have in mind. What do you think? In other words, at least come to the table with something rather than your hands out.
Right, rather than just use that creative muscle in your brain.
Absolutely.
To actually,
absolutely. I mean,
how could this come together?
I fear for creativity. But anyway, back to the brides and grooms.
Well, no, I think this is really, really great because it's like, because like what you're describing does nothing to go like, yeah, okay, I'll do that. And then running, hoping you're going to get the answer does nothing to manage their expectations around it. And also they have no stake in it. I remember a time I had a couple, they're like, we love baseball and we want everybody to do the wave when we're coming in. And I'm like, I'm not sure how I'd pull that off. Let me think about that. Let me see if I can come up with that. And I talked to some people and I noodled around some ideas. And even when it came close to the day, we're in our final meeting, I said, I think I've got a way that we can do this. And I told them, this is how I envision it happening. And it really kind of depends on if I can get everybody on board. And I don't want it to be lame. So give me this latitude. If I think I can pull it off, it's going to happen when you walk in. And it's going to be awesome. And if I don't, it's not going to happen because I wasn't going to be able to make it awesome. And if you give me the ability to make that call, I said we can roll with it because I don't want it to be kind of lame or a half attempt. I want it only to be amazing. Right.
And I think one of the greatest lessons I learned from the entertainment experience, because I attended, is the question of why. Why do you want to do this?
Yeah.
Tell me why this is important. If you understand the why, it is going to make it so much easier for you to be able to do the what. Because so you want to do, so let me see if I can figure out, if I understand the why, then maybe that'll help guide me to what it is you want to do. I just think that, I know that there's a lot of extremely talented DJs in this world. And I'm not trying to say I have all the answers because I certainly don't have all the answers. I wish I did. But the one thing that I would encourage everyone to do, and I know a great deal of the people that watch these feeds are people that are just kind of maybe coming into the industry or have been in the industry for a short period of time. And I'm begging of you, from the very beginning, be honest with your couple. When I was younger, and I was younger once, believe it or not, I was in a totally different industry. And one of the very early lessons I learned from my district manager, I worked for the same man for a number of years. I loved this guy. He was my mentor. And one of the lessons he taught me very early on in my career was, if you don't know the answer, don't try to fake it. Just tell me you don't know the answer, and then go find out the answer and then come back and tell me. But if you just fake it, you're wasting my time and you're going to tick me off. In the end, bride and grooms are the same way. You don't want to tell them something and then be forced into that position of going, you don't want to tell a bride and groom, oh, I can make that happen for you. And then come back to them and go, I can't figure out how to make that happen for you. It's just... Or, could you, or go back after the fact and start looking for explanations that you should have asked for a long time earlier.
Yeah, you're always, just bar none, you're always better off just being straightforward. Because then, if it's something that you really want to, that they really want to do, you really want to do,
Absolutely.
you both have a stake in it. However it goes, they're still going to love you because you're doing it out of commitment and it has purpose, and you're doing your best, and they know that you're doing your best.
Nobody ever
Versus
fault.
just like, sure, no matter whatever you say, I got it. And then if you don't, then it's like, this is really disappointing, right? Because no expectations were managed.
Well, and on top of that, no, especially if you say, I've never done this before. I mean, then they know you've never done this before. So if it doesn't come off exactly as planned, then that's the way it goes. But it's a lot like improv. I mean, nobody's ever going to fault you for taking a chance. No one is ever going to fault you for taking
Exactly.
a chance.
Let's take another break and hear from
Let's
our
do
great
that.
sponsors, Electro Voice and DJ Event Planner. When we come back, I'd like you to give us a couple ideas. Give us a couple things that really stand out to you that have been a great practice that really goes a long way to really make a wedding fantastic or really make a bride say wow. We'll get into that when we come back in just a moment with guest Ron Ruth on Monday Night DJ and TV Live DJ Chat.
DJ Event Planner will change the way you manage and run your business. Streamline all of your procedures and software into one easy-to-manage system. DJ Event Planner, the ultimate online planning tool.
And we're back with guest Ron Ruth, columnist in the Disc Jockey News, as well as you've been keynote speaker, you've got workshops, you've performed as an MC and a DJ for a long time. It's really great to have your experience and knowledge on the show. Yeah, a long time. So what would you say? We only got a couple of minutes. So what do you think is like one of the practice or an idea or something that like really pretty much hands down always makes the bride go wow?
Two things: communication and passion for what you do. Communication with the bride, always keeping her informed, always keeping her up to date. Staying in constant communication. If you have a bride that's 6 months out and you haven't talked to her in a week or couple of weeks, just send her an email and say, hey, you know what, I'm here. What can I do for you? I just want to remind you, I'm happy to help you in any way I possibly can. And then passion, just passion to be the absolute best you can be. Doesn't mean you're going to be the best, but you can only be the best you. That's the way, and that's something I've learned. You don't have to be right all the time. Right. The purpose of owning our business was never because we always wanted to be right. It was we wanted an opportunity to practice our passions, to be able to play in the playground of our passions all the time rather than doing it for somebody else. Other than, obviously we have our brides and grooms that we're working with, but if you came into always remember why you came into this business. What's the why behind? We talked about the why behind what a bride and groom want to do. Always know your why. Why are you here? And always keep that foremost. If your why is to assure that every bride and groom is able to celebrate a happy their happiness at all time during while they're in your care, then that has to be something that is a part of your mantra, no matter what you're doing, whether you're buying equipment or whether you're meeting with couples. Happiness has to be the foremost thing.
That's awesome. Wise words. Thanks, Ron. Terrific having you on the show. And, we're going to have to chat at other times besides just on shows.
Don't be a stranger, man.
Right? You too. All right, that's it. Coming up next, we've got another really, really exciting guest. In fact, there's a sneak preview of him right there. We're going to be talking about photo booths when we come back in our next episode of DJ and TV Live DJ Chat.